Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. People buy guns for a number of reasons. Concealed carry, defending your country against tyranny. A big one is home defense. But what is the perfect gun for home defense? Today, we're going to talk about that. I've done home defense videos in the past, but it's been a long time, and I've got way cooler guns now than I did the last time I did a home defense video. And I've learned a lot since then, and so I want to share my knowledge and experience with you guys. A lot of people believe that the perfect home defense gun is a 12 gauge shotgun. Well, I'm going to probably anger a lot of people by saying this, but I disagree totally. And the reason for that is a few things. A 12 gauge shotgun generally has very low capacity. You only get a few rounds in there. It has pretty high recoil, so you're going to have to be dealing with that. And they're long. Unless you have a short barreled shotgun, which is an NFA item. And yes, we will be talking about some NFA items today. But generally a shotgun has to have at least an 18-inch barrel. So it's a pretty long, heavy, unwieldy thing with a lot of recoil, low capacity. And then everyone always talks about over penetration. Well, if you're running double-aught buckshot or slugs, that's going to over penetrate as much as anything else or more so. So I don't think that a shotgun is a good home defense gun. But what is? That's what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to bring up a couple of options. We're going to talk about how well they could be used for home defense. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you what my choice is for the perfect home defense gun. So when it comes to home defense, you need to consider a few things. One of them being the over penetration that we talked about. You don't want to send bullets through your walls, potentially hurting someone that is completely innocent. That is huge. You are responsible for every round that leaves your muzzle. Another thing you have to consider is being able to maneuver around in your home. Now, we all live in different kinds of homes. If you live in an apartment, you're going to have different considerations than someone that lives on a farm. And so you can take those into consideration and decide what works best for you. I have a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's not an apartment, but it's also not like a mansion by any means. And so I have my ideas that are a perfect home defense gun for me. We're going to talk about a few of these and you can decide what is perfect for you. Now when it comes to home defense, the first thing many people think about, besides that fire 2 blasts into the air like Joe Biden says with a 12 gauge shotgun, please don't do that, that's illegal, is a bedside gun. Now, your bedside gun could also be your concealed carry gun if you only want to own one firearm. A lot of people are going to own a Glock. Glock 19 is probably the most popular Glock. This is a 19X. I like it a little bit more than a 19, but not really for concealed carry. It's got a pretty big grip on it, which is the part that's going to print when you're carrying, but we're not talking about concealed carry. This would be a good bedside gun, especially if you put a light on it. Home defense is something every home defense gun, in my opinion, should have a weapon-mounted light. Now, you can run a handheld light with your pistol. That is perfectly acceptable, but then you have to train that way. And I think that it's good to be able to have a free hand just in case you need to deal with things in that kind of situation. So I do think that any home defense gun should have a light. Bad things generally happen at night. If someone's going to break into your home, that's probably when it's going to happen. So if your home defense gun is going to be your bedside pistol, I think there's a few things you should consider. Again, like I said, the light. I think capacity. Now, yes, statistically, you probably won't need that many rounds, but no one ever said that they wish they had less ammo in a gunfight. One of the reasons I like the 19X, you get 17 and 19 round magazines with it. This is a PSA Dagger. It's a Glock 19 size. It has 15 round magazines, but the great thing about Glock is that you can run any bigger magazines in any Glock. This is I'm not going to say how many on YouTube, but you can run whatever magazines you want. So say you concealed carry your G19, you can go home and put a bigger, higher capacity magazine in it and put it by your bedside when you go to sleep at night. What I like to use as a bedside gun is this. This is my Springfield Prodigy. It is a 2011 style gun. Staccato has trademarked 2011, so you can't technically call it that, but it is a double stack 1911. And it has a rail for a light, which I believe is necessary for a bedside gun, and it has an optic. Light and an optic at night, especially in a very stressful, quickly moving, quickly changing situation. I don't want to have to worry about lining up my iron sights, about possibly not seeing my iron sights in the dark. So I think an optic and a light is a really good thing. It also has, this is a 20 round magazine, but you can also get 26 round magazines for it. So you can have a lot of capacity. Mine has been highly reliable. I've put well over 1,000 rounds through it with really no failures at all. This thing runs great and I shoot it very well. You want to be confident with your home defense gun, and I'm very confident with this pistol. Dracos seem to be very popular these days. Do I think that this is a good home defense gun? Not necessarily. 7.62 by 39 is a pretty heavy round, and I believe, and you can correct me in the comments if you want, but I think that you would have to worry about over penetration with a round like 7.62 by 39. And also, this thing has no stock or brace on it. So it's going to be a little bit hard to control and put shots on target, which is very important, especially if you're thinking about over penetration. One of the best ways to avoid over penetration is to not miss your target. So what about a standard 5.56 AR-15? Well, a standard 5.56 AR-15 is going to have a 16-inch barrel like this. That's a pretty long thing to maneuver around inside your home. This is an 11.5-inch barrel AR-15 in 5.56, and originally this was to be my home defense gun. But the thing about 5.56 is that you need barrel length to get effective velocity out of it. Now, 11.5, you're going to get a pretty effective velocity. 10.3, still decent. Anything shorter than that, and you're really wasting the effectiveness of the round. And the other thing about that is that 5.56 was designed to run out of a 20-inch barrel, and so you don't get full powder burn out of a shorter barrel, and so it's going to be very, very loud out of a shorter barrel, and it's going to have a lot of flash. It could possibly blind you at night, and it is going to be deafening. And so for that reason, I'm not sure that I recommend 5.56 for home defense, unless maybe it's suppressed, but then again, you're adding more length to it, making it less easily maneuverable around your home. I do think something like a pistol caliber carbine could be a great home defense option for quite a few reasons. So we already talked about a handgun being a bedside gun, 9mm. Well, this runs the same rounds, and if you already have a Glock, well, it actually runs the same magazines. Now, not every PCC does, but a lot of them do run Glock magazines. But you get some advantages with something like this. Now, this one is SBR'd, so it does have a stock and a vertical foregrip on it. Until relatively recently, we were able to have these with pistol braces on them. That also works very well. But what it does is it gives you a third point of contact, which makes it much easier to be accurate and to put shots on target, especially in a stressful situation. You can also run something like this generally faster while being more accurate than you can with a standard handgun. Now, you can also mount optics, lights. It's kind of a funny light I've got on this, but it was sent to me for free for review. And I've run a lot of rounds through this thing, and the light still works great. And for using inside my home, it's plenty bright. But a red dot and a light, like I said, I think those are necessary for home defense. And then if you just have a fast safety and a good quick trigger, you can put a lot of rounds on target very quickly. More and more these days, there are going to be more than one person maybe breaking into your home. It seems to be a trend that groups or teams of guys go to do, home break-ins now. And so being able to put many rounds on multiple targets quickly is going to be an advantage. And if you're defending your home, you want every advantage you could possibly have. You don't want it to be a fair fight. Something like this is really helpful for something like that. Also, like an MP5, great option for home defense. I don't think that the ergonomics and controls are as easy to use as an AR style platform, but it is a very effective CQB or close quarters battle weapon. It's been used by militaries around the world for years. I think an MP5 or just any kind of PCC, specifically like an AR9, is a great option for home defense. Now, what I think is the very, very best option for home defense, and remember, this is just my opinion, but I have done a lot of research on this, is a short suppressed 300 Blackout. I literally built this as a ultimate home defense build. It's got all the things that I've talked about already in this video. An optic with a circle dot reticle for fast target acquisition, a very good round capacity, a good light. 300 Blackout, unlike 5.56, is extremely effective out of a shorter barrel, and you get full powder burn at about 9 inches. This is an 8.3 inch barrel with a suppressor to get the rest of that unburnt powder before it leaves the muzzle. So you're going to have very minimal muzzle flash, very minimal sound with a suppressor on it, but you could still keep it nice and short and maneuverable. You also have multiple options when it comes to ammo loadings. You can run supersonic or subsonic ammunition. Now, supersonic ammo is going to be more terminally effective as far as the ballistics go, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with subsonic ammo when it comes to home defense. Think about it like this. If you are worried about that over penetration, well, subsonic ammo is going to be a heavier round, but there's less of a powder charge behind it. It might have less of a chance of going through walls and hurting an innocent person. Again, if you train on your weapon and you have something like this, in the distances that are at least in my home, I think that I would have a very easy time putting rounds on target and hopefully not having to worry about over penetration. It's difficult to miss at close distances with something like this. And that's kind of the whole point. I was talking about an MP5 a minute ago, or a 9mm PCC. Well, 300 Blackout was specifically designed for the military to replace the MP5 for clandestine, CQB type operations. And home defense literally is CQB. So I think that a short suppressed 300 Blackout is absolutely ideal for home defense. Get yourself a good fast trigger. Again, like I said, I like running the 45-degree safety so that you can off, on, off, and very quickly and easily. Something like this, I think, is absolutely perfect for home defense. And I hope you agree with me. If you do, let me know down in the comments. Please subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. Give me a like, share this video with anybody that you think should see this. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.